So Bernie Sanders did a town hall recently on Fox News, well, Fox and Friends, whatever the fuck he did it on, and he said a few things I found were quite interesting. Full disclosure, I actually supported Bernie before he lost to Hillary because he basically got screwed by her, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I thought he was better than Trump. Clearly, he is better than Trump, but maybe not so much anymore now that I dug into him a little bit. So here's a couple things that I thought I'd point out because I've made this argument before, and it's amazing that no one really sees it and no one calls him on it. And it's rather annoying, actually. It's blatantly blaring in our face. I mean, let's take the first argument. He has a top three, third best bestseller right now or something like that. So if he's such a socialist, why is he working within a capitalist system to basically become a millionaire? At this point, he is now the enemy of the socialist state. By his own philosophy, he is now the enemy of the state. In other words, his socialist utopia would dethrone his ass and take all his assets. He set himself up for his own failure, which is amazing. With his own philosophy, he's contradicting it within his own actions. That's the first thing. He kind of got called on it, but then he deflected and said, well, I'd like to see Trump do something like that and show his tax returns. I was like, shut up, you fucking piece of shit. The whole reason you got called up on it is because you're a socialist, and socialists hate freaking capitalism. They hate the idea of making money, and no true socialist would be a millionaire. Not necessarily true, because when you're at the top of the party, you get all the money. Literally, you have everything belonging to you because the means of the production is owned by the state, owned by the social people. It's owned by the people, and the People's Party is the state, essentially. So he got called on that. But here's the thing that bugs me the most. So he was ranting on and on, along with the other Democrats, in particular, about the universal health care. And I actually am for a universal health care, but not in the positions that they are proposing it, because all of it is socialist positions, which is absolutely fucking retarded.
Their plan is clear now.
I wouldn't mind having a socialist healthcare system in some regards. You would have to pay more taxes. In fact, the demonstrations or the examples that people give for a perfect socialist utopia, such as like Canada and Sweden and Germany and so on and so forth, they have high individual income tax rate, up in the 30s and 40%. And in some cases, it's up almost close to 60%. So if you're making 60, 80,000 a year, imagine giving 1/3 of that to the government. 1/3 of your basic income to the government. As it stands, with the living and cost of living expenses that you currently have, you now have to give it to the government. 1/3 of your income to the government. I'm not too keen on that. 1/4 is still too much to me. They overspend on shit that they don't need to spend on, and if you try to universalize healthcare, they will exactly do that. But that is actually not the best argument against socialized healthcare within the United States in particular. Not to mention that those other countries have some of the poorest health quality of health treatments around. They don't have the kind of technology and technological advances and innovation that we have, obviously because of capitalism, for anybody that actually pays attention. But that's not the reason, because, you know, profits drive innovation, which is kind of fun. No, that's not a good argument at all. There is a better argument against his socialized medicine. And here it goes. This is real simple. I put it out there a couple times, especially with the Beto O'Rourke and a couple other debates that were pointed out here when they're talking about socialized or universal health care, in particular the United States. There's problems with it, but let me get to the main argument first, basically. What you would need to argue with is, let's say I was in the town hall and I was posing Bernie a question. And my question would be, here's the premise. You want a universal healthcare system, state-run, government-owned, not state, but federally run, not state-run, federally run. There is already a healthcare federal system within the United States that is completely owned and operated by the federal government. It happens to also be the worst healthcare in United States history. It is absolute trash, and you cannot name one person that I can find that isn't paid for that actually likes this system. And of course, you may not like the answer to this, but let me ask the question, oh Bernie Sanders, if I was at your town hall. What would you do to fix the VA before we'd allow you to touch our health care? The VA is a socialist, social health care system, open access, free health care to veterans. It is the worst treatment that veterans ever get. Many, if not all veterans, try to seek out private health care options to get away from the VA, and even then the VA gets their hands into their healthcare to try and control what they can and cannot do. And the VA benefits themselves, let's not even get started on there. The doctors are corrupt. There have been numerous accounts of corruption and bureaucratic bullshit within the VA, and all of it is socialized, run healthcare within the United States. If you expect the rest of us to jump on your universal socialist healthcare system, why is it the United States can't even get the veterans right? You treat the veterans of this country worse than regular people that have privatized insurance. And we pay for our own shit, and we get better healthcare than the VA does. So if you can't even treat our veterans properly through socialized healthcare, what makes you think we should trust you with the healthcare system of the United States? There's your argument. That is plain and simple as day. Any dumbass socialist that wants to argue that socialism has never been tried, that is a micro example of socialized healthcare within the United States. It is completely state-run. It is completely federalized. The doctors are on federal payroll. The nurses are on federal payroll, all the way up and down the ladder. It is the worst healthcare system that I've ever seen. Itchy nose. And I cannot find a single veteran that I've ever talked to that says, yeah, I love the VA. They treat me well. They take good care of me. All my health care is met, and the doctors are great and everything. I can't find one, not one goddamn veteran that will say that the VA is just the best place on earth. Not a damn one. There's your argument against your socialized medicine. It's really simple, rather, that if you can't run the VA properly, why the hell would I want you touching mine? Don't fuck up my stuff. I have good health care. I can cover my shit. Yeah, a couple of the exams I have to do are $1,000. I save up a little bit and I go get that shit done. Or I can finance it if I really, really need it and don't want to die. Maybe it's life-threatening. I need to get done now. There's those options. Or I can go to a different doctor and they'll maybe charge me less. I have that option. With a socialized medicine, I'd have to go through the doctors, through the system, through the thing, and you're trying to tell me, oh yeah, that it'd all be free. No, it wouldn't. 314 million people would be paying for my treatment. That's not free. That's taking out of other people's pockets to benefit me. How is that right? That's insane. So that's a good argument against his socialized medicine. If you were to put yourself in the shoes and put yourself into the question where you ever have to argue to somebody about this socialized medicine thing, well, there you go. The VA is a great example. You don't need other countries to demonstrate how stupid this is. In other countries, their socialized medicine is good in some. Like, you can go and get like your regular checkups, you got the ER, stuff like that. It's pretty quick. You get anything beyond that, and you're fucked. You're a 6-month waiting list in some locations. And I've read some great horror stories about people trying to get like just glasses for their eyes, or because they have cataracts and they got to get them removed or some shit. Like, it's simple stuff that you could get done in a weekend in the United States because it's privatized. Now, that is an argument for the privatization of medicine. Where I disagree on the privatization of what we have now is that it's way the hell overpriced. So the companies themselves, because we privatized it and we're heavily capitalist, they take advantage of the system and overprice us. Remember that douchebag that bought, I think it was the AIDS or it was the cancer medication that was like $10 per prescription, and he jacked the price 400% so that he could make a disgusting margin on life-saving medication? And he's like, well, I bought it. It's my IP now. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And he was technically right, and there was nothing anybody could do. He went to jail for other reasons. like tax evasion or fraud or something like that, extortion, something. But it had nothing to do with the price hike that he did on that drug. They just found other reasons to throw his punk ass in jail for being a massive prick. He just so happened to do other things that were illegal, even though what he did there was perfectly legal. That is what we need to fix. You want to say to one of these idiot socialists that thinks that socialized medicine is a great idea, you want to go straight to just providing healthcare coverage. Great. You want the government to be our insurance agency. Everything goes through there. Well, guess what? Our taxes would go up exponentially because there is no regulation stopping any of these bastards from hiking up their prices to the point where the state would have to pay the one that's $10 per prescription, they have to pay $150 per prescription now because the company decided to jack up the prices and they're the only ones to supply it or some shit like that. They'll make some stupid ass excuse and there you go. What needs to happen first is you regulate both the private medical profession of individualized doctors so they can't overprice you for routine inspections like a colonoscopy or some shit, you know, where they shove a tube up your butt to check your colon. They don't charge you $1,000 out of pocket or some shit like that. You're already paying $300 a month on your group insurance for your family, right? Why the hell do I have to come up with $1,000 out of pocket when I'm already dishing out to you guys $1,500 a year when I have to use this once in the last 20, 30 years? You want to, and I've been paying you guys $300 a month for 15 years and I have to go use it for once and you want another 1,000 out of my ass? That's not fair, right? Fix that shit. You want to socialize my medicine, but you can't get that regulation in there first? Or how about the regulations of the prescriptions? Because prescriptions get you fucked too. If you go with the name brand stuff, what they do is they just take, it's like $50, $60 a prescription and you have to refill that shit every 30 days because they don't give you enough to last 6 months. Rightly so, because some of that shit's actually addictive. So they don't want you to OD on it. So obviously, you know, you got to regulate these people. And that's fine. I'm fine with regulation of my delivery of prescriptions so I don't have too much at home and I don't forget or I overtake it or some shit, you know. Try to protect the person from being stupid. But at the same time, you shouldn't be charging me $600 for my prescription. You should be charging me 10, maybe 15, maybe. I could see with that because, you know, we got to pay the clerk and whoever else is packaging it and shipping it. It's only fair that the people that actually give you your prescription, basically, they get paid. I mean, they're doing a service. They're making sure that they regulate, making sure that your medications that you have on your list, if you go to the single location for your medications, they check it against the other ones and make sure there's nothing conflicting so you don't die. That usually helps because doctors don't necessarily talk to each other. So if you go to several different doctors for several different things, one of them might not know what you're on because there's no universal database of your health. That's another problem that I think should be fixed before you decide to go fucking with my healthcare. There is no universal location or database or common thread between multiple doctors. They can all use different softwares depending on how much they want to pay, how many patients they have, what kind of practice they have. They have different platforms and different competing software companies for the same thing. None of them share their data. HIPAA prevents it, in fact, that you can't share data amongst each other. So basically you end up screwing each other there too. I don't seem to think that that's fair at all. There should be a universal database, in my opinion, where an individual's records completely sealed and locked. No one can access them except for the doctors in charge. Yes, that puts you at risk for being hacked and whatnot, but if somebody wants to know that I'm on testosterone for fucking whatever, and they want to go look up my prescription and maybe try to get their own, well, bust their ass. You can go track hackers. Shit, I do that for a living. You can find anybody you want. VPN or no, I can find out where the fuck you're at. It's not that hard to figure out so long as you know how to track traffic. And you better believe that these people, if it was government run, I take it back. Hillary Clinton got away with fucking up a mail server. So I doubt they could get that shit right either. It's state run. They can't even get the VA right? Either way, here's my problem with what they're proposing. They want to go straight to the healthcare, get in front of it, and go straight to the end user to us regular people and say, we're going to protect you and we're going to be your insurance company and that's it. What they don't do first is fix the overpricing and the unregulation of overcharging people for different procedures and medications. They don't fix that shit first. No, they want to go straight to us so that we can see the benefits, but then all the private industry reaps the rewards through our taxes. That's essentially what would happen. We would be paying private industry to profit, and we get stuff for free. Oh, yippee yay. I might as well become a drug manufacturer at that point, because I'd be making bank off of you guys. All 314 million people, all of everybody that pays taxes, I'd be bankrolling on it, because shit, I could charge whatever the hell I want. There's no regulation on what I could charge. I mean, it's low regulation, really. So I could make bank. So that's all I got. Your argument, pretty simple. Use the VA. The VA is socialized medicine with the United States, and it's the worst experience any veteran has ever had with health. And you want to run my private life with health and insurance and whatnot? No. You ain't touching that shit. I'd rather pay for my doctor than live through the nightmare that is the VA that fucks so many people over. Veterans deserve to be treated better. Why don't you fix that shit before you go touching mine? Those people deserve it more than me. Second point, there's an obvious thing that they're missing. They're trying to go straight to the end person, and I'm repeating myself, I know, without fixing the underlying problems first. The cost of medicine, the cost of procedure, the overpricing of procedures, the copay in particular, the most menacing piece of shit out there. I have to pay another $1,000 after I've paid you monthly out of my check. I don't see that as ethical either. That actually bars people from getting treatments, because they not only are paying their insurance, but now they have to pay extra just to get treatment, because now they have to cash in on what they've been paying for who knows how long. And it's a bar to, it's basically barring people from being treated. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a while. I had a few ideas, but here's the problem with me. I end up fixated on a specific subject, and I just go to town on it until I'm done. This guy in particular that I'm working on right over here on my little mini is about a cultural appropriation, and I'm really hoping you might enjoy that one. It's a definite deep dive, and boy did I find some weird shit out. It's a core tenet of the intersectional feminist ideology, and I thought I'd expose the living shit out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.